Hello, everybody. Once again, on a Friday, I've got to leave the house at 10 o'clock, taking my mum, who's just flown in from interstate, up to the Tweed River Gallery. So I'm on here a little bit earlier. Now I've got a hair on my lip. Hello, it's Friday already. Who could believe it? Today, the silent midlife changes nobody talks about until they do. I think bone health is one of those most misunderstood conversations in midlife, not because women don't care about their bones, because most women never think about them. And why would they? Right? Bones don't hurt when they're losing density. They don't send obvious warning signs. They don't make themselves known. They're not those ones that tap, 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 knock, knock, knock until they do, until one day you become aware, and that can be from an incidental finding from a DEXA scan. It can be because you have a fall and you break something. There's lots of reasons why you incidentally find out about it. So one thing I see a lot of in clinic is women becoming concerned about their bones only after the fact, only after something happens, when their awareness has been raised. It might be a scan, a diagnosis, a fracture, a friend falling, their mother falling, breaking a hip, and suddenly what felt like a distant problem to worry about down the track becomes a very personal now problem. Before that, most women are focused on weight, sleep, fatigue, hormones, brain fog. Their bones are rarely on the list of concerns. And honestly, I understand why. Because bones don't, bone loss doesn't feel urgent. You can't feel 1% bone loss. You can't feel muscle slowly disappearing. You can't feel balance declining. What you can feel is your jeans getting tighter, being tired, feeling stressed, waking at 3 a.m. And that's where your attention goes. The squeaky wheel that gets addressed first, the thing that's making the loudest noise. And here, and sorry, the challenge is that while you're paying attention to the things that you can feel, right, other changes are quietly happening in the background. Vanity can be a part of that as well, of course, and fear of aging, and there's a lot of different nuances to this as well. So what are some of the myths? Myth one, if I don't have osteoporosis, I'm fine. I hear this one a lot. Oh, I've been tested, I don't have osteoporosis. As though there are two categories: healthy bones, osteoporosis, and nothing in between. That is where we need to address things. We need to get them optimal before. So it's not A or B, there's a big line between, and that's what we actually really need to focus on. What I actually see is a woman sitting in the middle: osteopenia, loss of muscle mass, reduced strength, reduced resilience, not sick, not broken, but moving in the wrong direction, and often having no idea it's happening. Now, that doesn't mean every woman needs to panic and run off and have a bone scan tomorrow, but it does mean that bone health deserves more attention than it usually gets. Myth number two, if I take calcium, I'm covered. This one has probably caused more confusion than almost anything else, because women have been taught for decades that bone health equals calcium, full stop. But bones don't exist in isolation. Neither does strength. And what I call the metabolic skeleton is much bigger than the bone density. It's muscle, it's balance, it's movement, it's protein, it's hormones, it's vitamin D, its strength, its function. You know, a woman with strong bones but poor muscle strength is still at risk. A woman with reasonable bone density but frequent falls is still at risk. The story is bigger, much bigger than calcium. And I could spend a whole 10 minutes talking about types of calcium and what calcium can do that's not the positive impact you're wanting it to have. Another myth, if I can't take HRT, I'm doomed. This one is one of the biggest fears that I hear, especially if you've been told estrogen protects bone, because that's true. Estrogen does protect bone. But so when a woman can't take HRT or doesn't want to take HRT, that choice, right, is told she's not suitable, a suitable candidate, because women can be denied HRT even if they want to have it. She can be left feeling as though the future is already decided, it's doomed, almost like the damage is inevitable. What I want women to understand is that bone health has never been one tool conversation. Yes, HRT can absolutely help support bone density. There is some research showing that. It's not as black and white as what some people advocate for as well. But I've also seen women place all their hope in a prescription while ignoring the things that can build musculoskeletal system every single day. And I've seen women who couldn't take HRT make remarkable improvements in their strength, their function, their confidence, and long-term risk profile because they focused on the things they could control. And there's even some comments into this week's posts about the difference diet and lifestyle factors have made for women in rebuilding their bone density. So it's not an all or nothing, ladies. And there's certain reasons why, and there's certain reasons why some people are denied HRT, and some people go on HRT and they react to it and have to come off it because of the side effects. So I just want you to know that you're not doomed. This isn't about pro-HRT or anti-HRT. It's about understanding that HRT is one tool. It's not the entire toolbox. Another question that I had was, I can't have dairy, so I'm going to have to take a calcium supplement. Dairy is one source of calcium, for sure. I'm not denying that. Dairy is the most bioavailable and common source of calcium in the Western diet. Yogurt, milk, cheese, hard cheese, soft cheese, but there's so many others. There's plant-based and fortified foods, so tofu, because they use calcium to set the soy. There's also fortified soy, fortified almond milk. There's bok choy, so leafy greens, cooked bok choy, cooked kale, unhulled tahini, sesame seeds, eggs. There's also seafood from the ones where you eat the bones, so canned sardines, canned pink salmon. They also are high sources of calcium, dietary calcium, beyond just dairy. So the hard truth is that no amount of HRT can strength train for you. No amount of calcium can build muscle for you. No supplement can replace movement. And no, the body needs a reason to keep bone. And that's up to you, not a tablet, not a pill, not a magical cure. And one of the strongest signals we can give it is load, right? Lifting, carrying, pushing, pulling, jumping, rebounding, using our muscles, because bone responds to demand, and that's how the body works. And that's actually good news. Why is it good news? Because it's inside your control. Right? It means that there is far more influence available to women than they've been led to believe. So many women wait until they get a result that they don't like before they start paying attention. A diagnosis, a fracture, a warning, a scare. But bone health isn't built when the fracture happens. It's built in the years before that. And as I said on Monday, I'd like to draw this into the 30-year-old women, especially the ones fasting and cutting back on fats and avoiding cheese, things like that. The same way, retirement isn't built the year you retire. Right? It's built in all the years leading up to it. And that's what the opportunity midlife gives us, not fear, opportunity. The good news is that the body is remarkably adaptable. Muscle can improve, strength can improve, balance can improve, bone can be supported, risk can be reduced. There is so much more influence available to women than they realize. So if you've been avoiding this conversation because it feels overwhelming, I want you to hear this. You are not too late. You are not doomed. You are not powerless. Because one of the things I hear most from older women is, I wish I'd known this sooner. I know there's a big age variance within this group, so you have to choose where you are on that trajectory. You can still lift weights at any age. You just don't go and try and deadlift 100 kilo from not having lifted anything for many years, right? You've got to meet your body where it's at and graduate from there. And it's not that I want you to have another thing to worry about, because I want you to have the chance to act before it becomes a problem. And midlife is exactly that chance. The body is always communicating. The question is whether we listen whilst it's whispering or wait till it has to shout out at us. So ladies, your next step isn't another random supplement. It's understanding your risk, your strengths, and the areas that need support. So I'd love to know, when you think about bone health, what concerns you most? Is it osteoporosis? Is it losing strength? Is it fall risk? Is it not knowing your risk? Or is it not knowing how to find out where you are on that trajectory? Or if this conversation you've never really thought about before. Have you never thought about your bones? Where are you on that? Let me know in the comments. You've got more questions, comment below and I'll circle back and answer them for you. Okay, ladies, hope this has been insightful. Bye for now.